Vanessa Galhardo, a true embodiment of visionary leadership and transformative growth. As the founder of Neva Consultancy, Vanessa has forged a remarkable career at the intersection of compliance, consultancy, and leadership. With a deep commitment to integrity, transparency, and continuous learning, she has not only led her own consultancy to great success but has also served as an independent non executive director for Edenred PayTech and Alterfin. Vanessa's story is one of innovation, resilience, and today she shares insights from her inspiring journey, leadership philosophy, and her vision for the future. Stay tuned for this insightful conversation. Welcome, Vanessa.
Hello, good afternoon.
Oh, Vanessa, it's a pleasure to have you here. So, we'll get started by talking a little bit about your journey. So, if you could just share a bit about your journey in founding Neva Consultancy and what exactly inspired you to venture into the compliance and consultancy space.
Yeah, well, I started my own consultancy in 2019 after a long career working as an employee in different organizations, public companies, but also in the financial sector. Having had roles as a lawyer, but also as a manager of back offices in the financial sector, I felt that I had gained some experience, some insights that could be valuable also for other companies. And that's actually one of the triggers that made me create my own consultancy and start this whole adventure in 2019. Which has been a very gratifying experience because, well, it has allowed me, first of all, as I was wishing to use all of this experience for different clients, but it has been also a very enriching experience for myself because even if you have experience, you all the time learn new things, you absorb other company cultures when you work with clients. So it is really a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's excellent, by the way. As a leader, how do you balance the demanding roles while maintaining your leadership philosophy?
Oh, well, I think it's very important to always keep your inspiration. And keeping an inspiration means having enough, interactions with people that can inspire you. That could be colleagues, peers, but also reading. I'm a very fond reader. I adore reading books, and I find lots of inspiration there. It allows you to, get out of your daily reality and to get new ideas, new insights, and that you then can use in your daily activities.
Oh, that's great. So, your leadership philosophy and style, it emphasis on transparency, integrity, and respect. So, if you could just elaborate on how these values shape your approach to guiding teams and organizations.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Values are very important in everything that we do. It's also clear that more and more everybody, workers, entrepreneurs, companies value the fact of having a purpose. And for me, when I manage teams or when I work for clients, integrity, respect are absolutely core values. I try to use them in everything that I do, be it from communicating in a transparent way to proposing or working in a way that is as ethical as possible, and proposing solutions for clients to their problems that are ethical, sustainable, and compliant with their legal obligations.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, how do you see your role of compliance evolving, especially when you have this ever-evolving landscape, financial and technological landscape, and also what key challenges do you anticipate that are going to appear in the future?
Yeah. I think compliance has many challenges upcoming, like actually companies in general have. We see already today, as you mentioned, technology, which is a huge opportunity for companies because it corresponds to the wishes of the clients to have more frictionless interactions with their companies that serve them. But of course, from a compliance perspective, this is a challenge, because this means more digital. More digital means new types of risks that have arisen already, that we see already today, like, for example, the risk of cybersecurity risks that have increased. So it means you need to have a whole scheme in place on cyber risk, but also for data protection. We have so many personal data today that are used and that can be used in the proper way, but it can be, of course, accessed or stolen. So we need to have everything in place. And we see already today that the governments, the legislators are aware of this and are making new legislation that will have an impact on this. And so companies need to prepare. And I think there's a big role for the compliance departments to play in that, but also in other areas, because we talk about digital and the opportunities that it brings, but it's the same for sustainability. And many companies talk about sustainability now, about ESG. Well, if we want to move along on this will have an impact on corporate governance. And corporate governance is also one of the areas in which compliance departments work, and where they will be invited to co-think, to come up with the structures that are appropriate to attain the necessary goals that are ahead.
Oh, that's well said. So, you have a long-standing career. Also, you have an impressive background in both law as well as in finance. So, how have these two fields complemented each other in shaping your approach to leadership as well as consultancy?
Yeah, I think the advantage for any professional is to have different experiences and different backgrounds, because that makes you unique. The fact of being able to combine, in my case, it's a legal background with experience in the financial sector, in management, in operations, makes me who I am, but it's also valuable for other professionals. I think it makes this unique mix of who we are, and makes that we can have a really unique proposal for our employers or the companies from whom we work. Me as a consultant, for example. So I'm very grateful actually for all the opportunities that I've had in the past to learn, be academically, but also as a professional in those different companies. Sometimes we think during our career, why am I doing this? Does it really make sense? But then in the end, when all pieces come together, it turns out that actually every experience is very precious and is important, well, to reach the point where we are today.
Oh, that's amazing. So, you have this demonstrative, career. So you think that mentorship is something that you're completely very much passionate about. So what advice would you give to young professionals and leaders aiming to navigate the complexities of the modern business world?
Yeah, I think as a starting point, I would say it's very important to choose a very solid background, academic background. A base is actually to start from in an area that you're interested in. And then I think you should move on after that to find an employer that can give you a relevant experience, professional experience, where you can learn really in practice what you have learned at university. And I think that's very important, to choose a place where you feel that you can learn something, which later on will allow you to move on and to grow, actually. Because the reality is, sometimes people think, well, I study this or I study that, and then that's it. It stops there, because I have a degree, I have a first experience. But reality is that actually nothing is ever completely done. Also our careers. So I think for young people that start today, find your solid background, find a place where you are respected and where you can learn, but then don't stop learning. Continue to develop yourself, because we are in an ever-changing world. So it will be clearly necessary to continuously learn and develop yourself. But it makes life also much more interesting if we learn new things all the time.
Oh, that's well said. And those are really some words of wisdom right there. So, digital transformation has a huge impact on the financial sector, and everything is going digital. The internet plays a big role in every industry. So, how do you think emerging technologies like AI and blockchain are reshaping compliance and risk management?
Well, I think those, what you mentioned there, those technological advances are very positive. It corresponds to the expectations of customers today who want easy, accessible services 24 hours per day, that want frictionless experiences. So it is beyond doubt that the financial sector will have to go on that path and is already going on that path. I think companies that will not do this are destined to encounter some serious problems because, well, the client decides actually what they like and what they don't like. So also in the financial sector, the companies will have to adapt. Of course, from a risk and a compliance perspective, that brings lots of new challenges, as we just said, challenges in cyber risks, challenges in data protection, challenges on a corporate governance perspective at large, but these can be mitigated, I believe. So I strongly believe that it's a question of preparation, rethinking structures that will make it possible to all happen. And I think, compliance departments can play a very important role. We have seen after the financial crisis that compliance departments, risk departments have taken a very important role to ensure that trust in the financial sector has been upheld, because it is a sector where everything is based on trust. So it is very important, that compliance departments, risk departments are involved in all those new developments to make sure that all the necessary mitigating measures are in place so that these new technologies can be used in a way that they satisfy the needs of the clients without putting them unnecessarily at risk.
Oh, that's fabulous. And that's a very insightful answer. So, this brings us to the last question. Looking ahead, what do you think are your future aspirations for Neva Consultancy and also your role in shaping the industry, particularly in leadership and advisory services?
Well, with Neva Consulting, I am very happy with all the work I've been doing for different companies in the financial sector. And my aim is to continue this in the years to come, to put my services, my experience at disposal as a consultant. Moreover, another area in which I have started working 2 years ago is I've started working as an independent non-executive director, and it is a role that I really enjoy because it is linked to everything that I've done before. It is the unique opportunity where I can use the experience as a lawyer, as a compliance officer, but also as a manager that knows the operations in different areas of the financial sector, because I've worked for banks, insurance companies, clearing, now recently for PayTech. So I have an experience in those different areas, which I can use there and give an advice and guide organizations to a better outcome.
I mean, I just want to thank you for your time, and I want to wish you all the best for your future. And you were so articulated, and all of the responses were so thoughtful. So it was an amazing interview with you. And in nowhere
I hope.
thought, yeah, I mean, you were doing great, and you answered it so naturally. All the questions you answered them so naturally and so well in detail. So I really like that, and I would like to thank you for your time and wish you all the best for your future with your company.